Alright guys, this is Wuchang. It's new game day. Always love a new game day, man. I'm so excited to dive into this one. And we've got a cutscene, so I'm just going to skip through because I do that for the videos. Obviously, I'll go and do a full playthrough myself after. But this is Wuchang running on RTX 5090 at over 200 frames per second. We've got on some, obviously, DLSS features to achieve this, and obviously we'll dive into all the usual stuff. Now, I just like to always show you guys, and some people have actually pointed out in the comments, I like to show you kind of the balls to the wall, all settings, crazy, stuff. So, first of all, let's dive into the settings menu and show you in terms of actual graphic settings what we've got. So, I was using DLSS quality at 75%. Some of the DLSS things are odd in this game, and we'll get into that in a second, so do stick around for that. Obviously, we had 4 times frame gen on. High anti-aliasing, literally everything is on the extreme preset where possible. Obviously, high is as high as some of these go, but shadow quality and stuff, extreme. All this stuff maxed out as high as it possibly can go. I can't see any sort of like actual ray tracing settings, so I'm not sure if there's anything in this game. There's just water reflections or reflection quality, and it's set to high. Graphic settings were obviously at 4K. Motion blur I have turned off, depth of field is on high, and that is how I'm leaving it for now. But what we do, as we usually do in this video, let's go all the way to DLAA and let's do the worst case. So DLAA and no frame generation. How are we performing? Let's reset our 1% lows, and as you can see, this is the raw performance of 5090 in this game. Not very good, to be honest. Like, it's just not very good. It's not what you want from a PC that costs this much. 9800X 3D and, of course, 5090. You don't want to be playing a game like this, right? It's just not the way you want to be playing. So, yes, there is that. But obviously, we're going to use some DLSS stuff. If we stare at this wall, though, we do, however, get 80 frames per second. So if you want to just play the game like this, then, you know, there's an option there. If you want to play it natively above 60 frames. But anyway, other than that, you're going to be dropping frames all over the place if you aren't using some form of DLSS. Now, we'll turn on some DLSS options in a second. Let's just check out what it's like when we go indoors in this area. Now, obviously, as I said, I'm going to play this game myself. I'm very excited for this one, and I'm looking forward to actually diving into this game. It does remind me kind of like the Wukong art style and stuff. I'm going to skip through this cutscene for now. As I said, I'll play it off camera myself. But it does remind me of kind of like that Wukong art style and stuff, and with a mixture of something like I don't know, Sekiro or something. It's just really cool. I like this setting, and it looks really interesting. Right, let's go through this door into like the first kind of area. And we've got a rest point here for us to make sure that when I do inevitably die in the next few seconds, that we have something to go back to. So let us look at some DLSS settings. Now, let's go to advanced graphic settings. Now, it's done on a percentage slider. It does at the bottom of the page give you a current level, which is DLAA obviously for 100%. But if we go down to 66.7, is technically DLSS quality, so that'll be 67% on this slider. That is DLSS quality. What do we get in terms of performance? Let's reset our 1% lows, and you can see that's much improved. We're close to that 80 frames per second mark for the majority of cases, which is definitely better, and 120 in that little area there. I've just got to talk to this guy because he gives us some stuff that opens the door behind him, so we've got to wait for that, I'm afraid. But you can see, performance-wise, looking decent. It's better. I mean, it's not good, considering that we're not running path tracing or anything. This is a little bit, like, bad in performance-wise. Now, are you ready to see me get absolutely destroyed by this boss that I have to do to open this door behind me? Because I've already done this video once and I wasn't happy with how I made it, so I'm redoing it because I was unhappy. So, some stutters there and loading, obviously, as that happens. There are some stutters in this game, so you need to be aware of that. It is not by any means perfect. There are some issues with performance, and it's a shame to see, but, you know, it's kind of how the modern games industry appears to be going. I dodged that. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Alright. Let's see. Good performance in this area with DLSS quality, but this is a good baseline, obviously, to enable something like frame gen, especially that we are dropping frames. If you want to... Okay. Let's dodge that. Let's dodge that. Oh my gosh. I don't... I'm assuming this is like one of those bosses that's at the beginning of the game to kind of be like, oh, by the way, you're playing a hard game. Like, be prepared. There's no way you're supposed to do this, like, now. I mean, I'm sure you can. They designed these games to be beaten at level 1, but I'm not doing that, guys. I don't know if that, like, little circle bar is like a stagger meter or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works. I'm not actually sure on the game yet, so... That's a lot of attacks, man. Oh my gosh. Can we give it, like, a heavy attack? Never mind. That worked really well. There's a windmill there. What's that doing? I'm struggling to even get in range of this guy, to be honest. Okay, well, we died. It's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't think you're supposed to actually do that boss. I think that's supposed to be like, oh, wow, this game is going to get very difficult later kind of thing. And then now we go back and we actually go to the area we're supposed to go to, which is behind the guy who put us in this place. Whatever his problem is with us, I'm not sure. But anyway, as you can see, for me personally, I have a 120Hz LG C1 that I'm going to be playing this game on. So for me, what I would do at this point, I'm probably going to enable something... Oh dear, we've had a hard crash. Okay, so we had our first hard crash there. That was a little bit odd. So anyway, as I was going to say, from this point, I would probably end up using FrameGen. Now, something I want to show you that's slightly bugged out. We're about 85 frames per second in the area we're in right now. If I just go to 99%, you can see that the performance doesn't actually change. So I believe that when you set it to any part of quality, it's the same wherever you are in that quality slider from 67% all the way up to 99. Nothing actually changes because we're getting the same FPS as to if I lower it back down to 67. So just to show you that again, if I go to advanced graphics and I lower this down to the 67% mark, which is still technically DLSS quality, but it should technically be a lower axis, we are still at that 85 frames per second. So I believe they just use that slider and basically it's like toggling modes that no matter where you are in the performance mode, it is that. But either way, and I can't notice like a major quality difference at all, I would personally enable something like FrameGen from this point, and this gets me to my monitors, my OLED monitors refresh rate. Now we're seeing some bigger stutters there, which is disappointing to see. Obviously you can ignore the 1% low graph while we're using FrameGen and stuff. Oh my god, that scared me. Jesus Christ, man. Where did you come from? I think you were over there. Let me reset the 1% lows just so you can see that it doesn't work properly with FrameGen, so you can kind of ignore that aspect of it. Oh, I just got a halberd. Okay, interesting. But this is good for me. I can use DLSS to get to this, use FrameGen. We've got a big drop in performance there into loading into the new area. Now, the stutters from what I've seen and looked at so far mostly do appear to be like when traversing into a newer sort of area. Most of the time, other than that, they don't seem quite so bad. There's the odd one here and there, like that one there. But it's like, I don't really know what to say. It's kind of the way the modern games industry seems to be going. It's disappointing, but at the same time, I don't know what we can do. It sucks, but yeah, this is what you can expect from this game. Like a little stutter on the first attack animation there, so it's kind of like it maybe is compilation stutter or something when like loading in a new animation or something we haven't done yet. But I'm pretty sure I have done that animation, so I'm not really sure. But we did hard crash actually, so maybe it did reset some like some of the shaders or something. I'm not really sure how it works. But anyway, this is what you can get. Like, we got some random drops down to like 85 FPS, and then it's almost like FrameGen then suddenly kicks back in, and then we've moved back up to our crazy frame rate. It's really weird behavior, and I'm not sure why it's doing that, but it is doing it. So that's going to miss, isn't it? Yeah, that's really fun. I love that. Okay, so anyway, carrying on up, I'm just showing you the performance of this area. Don't worry, we'll go on to some other stuff in a second. So, right, let's go back down to here. Now, if we were to lower something, let's turn back off this. If we're going all the way down to performance, which is 50%, this is DLSS performance, what kind of FPS do we get? Now, this is still a good option. Now, for some reason in the NVIDIA app, this game just will not show up yet for me. I've done the latest drivers, I've done everything I can possibly do, and it just will not, for whatever reason, show up this so I can use my latest version of DLSS. But I don't know if that's because maybe it's already just using it and there's nothing to toggle, but it should still show up in the app I don't know. I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this may already be using DLSS 4. It looks very good even in performance mode. It is slightly more blurry when like panning the camera than before. But this is another option if I get annoyed with frame gen like bugging out in this game. I have this option, and it's probably slightly better in terms of like obviously input delay because we're not using any sort of frame generation and we're just using DLSS upscaling. So there is that. Let's grab this other shrine. There's not really a lot more for me to say here. Like, you know, it is what it is. You're seeing it as I'm showing. It looks graphically really nice though, like looking at the detail and sharpness of all this, like these vines on the wall and the trees and stuff. It's so nice, man. But let's go back to quality again, and let's go all the way up to 99% quality for the sake of it and show you performance of that in this area. Since it doesn't really matter, it seems, let's just do that. And you can see we're at about 90 frame, oh, 120 actually. So this is what I mean. That frame gen, I think, is being odd. And I would say this definitely looks sharper than it was at performance mode. So let's release a ladder and go down. We'll keep it at this because I could actually play the game like this as long as we don't, like we are actually up at 120 frames. As long as we're not dropping too much down to like 80 or 70 suddenly, then we're in the, you know, VRR will do its thing and keep this feeling pretty steady. But if we do suddenly drop to like 60, 70, 80 FPS, obviously, I wonder what this is. Cast spells. Interesting. Let's do that again. Oh, I can't now. Switch spells? I've only got one for now. Okay, and we've used it once, so I'm guessing that's it. Never mind. Yes, we are still dropping down quite significantly. Okay, these recharge the spells. Now we can do this. Oh, he got me. Okay, never mind. My bad. Wow, that does go on for a long time, and now he's just swiping at me. Okay, well, I wish I hadn't used the spell, and I just hit him with my sword, because it's a lot easier. Okay, well, anyway, I think, depending on the majority of the game, obviously I haven't played crazy far through into the game yet, and I will do, obviously, that off camera and stuff, and if, oh my god, man, if there's any issues, oh my god, I'm like stuck on something. If there's any issues, then I will obviously update you and do a newer video with a new area and stuff, but for majority of what we're looking at right now, this doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue in terms of like actually running it just at DLSS quality. I hope I'm supposed to hit this guy. Anyway, I'm going to do a whole new playthrough off camera anyway, because I obviously want to listen to all the cutscenes and stuff that we did skip. Okay, so yeah, we're at a good FPS. I may still enable... Oh no. There's a boss here? Is that the guy down here? Okay, well, just for the sake of you guys getting to laugh at me, I'm going to do the boss with one potion. Okay, that's much more reasonable than the damage we were getting on that starting enemy at the beginning of the game.
Take this.
Take this. Yeah, I think you're staggered, love. Sorry. I think you are staggered, my friend, and absolutely obliterated. That was more fair. Thank you. I only got hit like a couple of times. That's much more reasonable. Boom. Destroyed. Okay. Well, I think we'll end the video there. I don't think there's much more for me to say. Like, obviously, I'm not meaning to press that button. Obviously, we can do stuff. I kind of didn't really show it, but I showed it at the beginning of the video. Obviously, we can frame gen like 4 times from here. If you've got a crazy high refresh rate monitor, you can literally go to something like 300 FPS. If you've got 4K 240Hz monitor, you can do DLSS quality at this kind of frame rate. Now, it's insane. Like, it's absolutely insane, and it doesn't look any worse in terms of like actual the images. Like, to me, I can't really see any sort of like frame gen artifacting. People always tell me to get my eyes tested, but I don't know. I mean, I have glasses already, and I do get my eyes tested, and for me, it's just not a big deal. Like, this feels fine, and I could absolutely, if I had a high refresh rate monitor, you know, 4K 240Hz, I would be enabling this to just max out my monitor, because why not? The feature's literally there, like, for that reason. So there's a lot of different things you can do with this, and make it look absolutely insane. So I think we'll end the video there. I don't think there's much more to say. Like, it runs well. Native performance is just something that's just obviously not being focused on anymore by like NVIDIA and stuff. So it's just not their priority. Obviously, using DLSS and all the AI features is the way gaming is going with cards, but it still looks really, really good, and I'm incredibly happy with the performance that I can get. Obviously, I'm going to enable like VSync through the NVIDIA control panel, so I can do that if I do use FrameGen to 120 Hertz. But I've got options. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in future videos. Bye-bye for now, guys.